Hi, I'm Cassie.
And I'm Gianni.
I never finished reading the Animorphs books as a kid, and I still haven't as an adult.
And I've never read them.
We can't tell you where we live.
But we can tell you that we want to revisit these books as adults and dive into what we would keep or change if we were to put it on TV.
Two friends, 50-something books. Welcome to Morphing Buddies.
And then the music kicks in, and then people are just so ready.
Hey everybody, welcome to the next episode of Morphin Buddies with me, your host, Cassie Cisnowski, and Mr. Gianni DeMaia, the amazing co-host.
Oh my god, amazing. Wow.
Amazing co-host.
So flattering to hear. Yeah. It's been a whirlwind couple of weeks, so apologies to the viewers if we seem low energy. It's just been so exhausting.
It's been a lot. Gianni's had a lot of weddings. I've had a lot of stressors, like everything's just happening all at once. But I think
we're gearing up for Big Nap City, I think.
Oh my God. Or mental breakdown. One of the two. Whichever.
I mean, it can only be one of the two.
It can only be one of the two. So, whichever comes first, that's probably what we will be participating in. Gianni, you just got back from a beautiful wedding and are planning another wedding in what, 2 weeks?
Yep. Yeah, so not this weekend, but the next weekend. Then I have my next best man appearance.
Nice.
So speech for the last best man one this past weekend went over very well, I think. So we'll see. It's it's hard to write like 3 distinct speeches about love within like a 6-week period, but
and are these
we got
are
it.
these all the same friend groups that have seen you be best man at everybody's wedding?
Sort of. So the one in September and the one this past weekend were the same friend groups. So a lot of overlapping people. This next one has like a couple overlapping people, but mostly people that aren't used to me speaking. So we'll see. We'll see if my verbiage is universal.
Yeah.
But we take it in stride.
Yeah, because my first thought would be for you to stand up and open and be like, I bet you guys are sick of seeing me, huh?
Yeah. It's funny. I did a sort of similar bit in the one I officiated in September, and it was like, oh yeah, like, hi, for those who don't know me, which is like a taboo thing, by the way. Don't ever begin a speech with "for those who don't know me," but I am. That's just something a wedding planner told me.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because everybody begins it like that.
Oh.
But it was literally like, I did some bit to the effect of like, I do a lot of these.
You'll be seeing me more.
Yeah, which obviously some people thought was really funny, and then the people who actually didn't know me were like, does he? I don't know.
See you later.
And I'm like, you won't see me again.
Yeah,
but yeah,
funny.
it's been good. I'm just happy because, I cried so much because like all my closest friends, and it was just so sweet and lovely. But I'm also, I think I also cried because it was the release of like so much stress and anxiety of
planning all this,
of participating in so many of these things.
Yeah, I get that.
And I was like, okay. I'm finally almost through.
Yeah.
So after this next one, then I'll be not free from weddings, but free for a little bit from
you'll
weddings,
have a break.
So that's good.
You'll have a nice little break. That's very nice.
Yeah.
I've been stressed out today, so I'm a little more low energy. Not to go into a ton of detail. My cat is sick again, and I had to rush him to the emergency vet, and it was very sad. I was crying for 5 hours straight this morning. Don't know the prognosis as of now. They're still running tests. I won't know until later tonight. But Gianni was like, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to do this today? Because you don't have to. And I was like, I want to because, one, this is something that brings me a lot of joy, and I can just kind of forget about everything else and focus on something silly and nostalgic and fun to do for me. And two, it feels like a nice way for me to connect not only with one of my really good friends, but with the rest of the people that are listening. And it's always nice to hear from you guys. Got a couple nice little notes after this beginning bit that I'll read to you. But, you know, it's also a reminder that when you're sad and upset, it's okay to, like, reach out to people and look for support. And I know a lot of people feel like, oh, I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to bother people. No. Like, if you're sad, do things that make you happy and go reconnect with people that you care about and that care about you. And I think that's just a really nice little reminder for me today. And I felt like if anybody else needed that reminder, take that with you. And it's not a sign of weakness. It's not a sign of you're too much. Don't ever be afraid to reach out to somebody who cares about you. And
Here.
And then go read Animorphs. Go read the reaction and make yourself giggle.
Get a nice little giggle out there.
Yeah.
You know, talk to some people, touch some grass,
Yeah.
do something you like. I'm so with you on that. I'm a big believer in getting out of a depressive funk by fighting it with fire.
Yeah. And that
I
fire
get it.
is the love that burns in our hearts. There we go.
And the fire is hot.
Yeah.
You know? It's nice and steamy.
Yeah.
And ooh. Oh, but I like it, you know? Because I'm masochistic.
There you go. It's a sauna.
Yeah.
It's a sauna.
Exactly.
You sweat out all the
Yeah.
toxins and you go about your day feeling better. So I was going to bring up a quote from one of my all-time favorite movies, from the half-brother of Dewey Cox. You got to be great for the both of us, Gianni. But
So true.
So
true.
but that is, if you haven't seen Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, that is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen in my life. Please go watch it. It's one of my favorite movies, and it always makes me laugh. And that quote popped up in my head today. You gotta be double great for the both of us.
I love it. I'm a big. I like doing. You don't want no part of this.
You don't want wrong kid, Dad.
Yeah, it's so good. Walk Hard is an iconic film. One of the greatest movie biopics that's not about 100%. A real person ever.
We're smoking reefer. Can't you smell it?
Yeah.
No, Sam, I can't.
The other one I quote all the time from Walk Hard is I love doing my impression of that movie's impression of Elvis. Where it's like, oh, Sam, look out, man.
It's so good. Love that movie. If you haven't seen it, please go watch it. It is one of the best comedy biopics. And I have not seen the Johnny Cash biopic with Joaquin Phoenix, and now I feel like I can't. No, but now I feel like I can't watch it because I'm just gonna laugh through the whole thing. Because all I'm gonna think is like him going to the bathroom, pulling out all the sinks.
Way funnier.
Yeah,
Walk Hard is made way funnier by watching Walk the Line. So totally watch Walk the Line. Walk the Line is good, but like Walk Hard is made funnier by watching Walk the Line. So I would highly recommend it.
It's so good.
It is such a good spoof.
I was unable to reattach the top half of your son to the lower half of your son. Speak English, Doc. We're not doctors. Love that movie. It's so good.
Yeah, that's a good one. I might throw it on after this. I haven't seen it in
It's
a while.
so good. It's such a mood lifter. I have it on DVD. I might just pop it in the Xbox and watch it. It's so good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm going to move on to a very nice comment someone left on one of our YouTube podcasts. I sound like a boomer when I said our YouTube podcasts on the YouTube.
It should go to show how completely not involved I am in the producing of this show, because I didn't know until you just said that out loud just now that we had these on YouTube.
Yeah, it gets uploaded to YouTube as well. So that's one of the platforms.
So sweet. What did they say?
So this person, at more like, don't know their pronouns, so I'm just going to refer to them as they. They said, love you guys.
Sexy.
Yeah. They said, love you guys. Been listening since episode 1. Hey, thanks. Thanks for helping me make donuts on Saturday mornings. Aw. Cool.
Anytime. Absolutely. Send us a donut, though.
Yeah, I'd love it. Nothing cream-filled for me. I don't like cream-filled donuts, but I'll take a chocolate donut with sprinkles. Love sprinkles on a donut.
Sure. I mean, you can cream me anytime, but I could also do a chocolate.
Why is that not the first time you've said that? I assume.
Because I love being creamed.
Yep.
I'm a big
cream boy.
I can't wait for someone to just splice this part out.
Would Would they call you a cream puff?
Yeah, you could call me a cream puff. Yeah. I love getting creamed, cream pied, cream.
Love
big
this.
Cream. Yeah, they call me Big Cream in these streets. I don't know if you've heard that.
Somebody clip that and put it into a song. I would love that.
Yeah, just put it as the new intro for the. Don't explain it at all.
Yeah, exactly.
All of a sudden we get to episode 34
creamed.
or whatever the hell. It's just I love getting creamed, and it goes right into an Animals podcast.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
This person said, when I read this book in 4th grade, so this is the separation, where Rachel gets separated as a starfish and has the two separate personalities.
Of course, how could I forget?
When I read this book in 4th grade, I thought Rachel actually stabbed that girl in the ear with a fork in the cafeteria scene. I was like, wow, Animorphs is so badass and edgy. I always remembered that bit and how messed up it was. Rereading it as an adult didn't happen. It was much tamer. Weird how our minds exaggerate things when we're young. Anyway, looking forward to all the episodes to come. I'll be here for the whole ride. Smiley face. Thanks, More Like.
Oh, love that. Thank you so much, More Like. That's actually so sweet. And I could totally see how that fork thing would come across. If I was 4th grade and I read that, I would be like, oh my God, I want to be her so bad.
Yeah.
And as an adult, I still want to be Rachel so bad, but I also am like, that book also was, as we know, kind of a slog.
A little bit.
But I totally get what you're saying about exaggerating those nostalgic elements. I think that's why also this podcast is kind of very interesting, because every time you remember something distinctly about one of these books, it's always like a little
so
bit
much
different.
more intense in my brain.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Like even the torturing thing with Tobias, it was like, I remember you being like,
it's crazy.
Yeah, I remember this.
Holy
this.
Shit.
It was distinct,
yeah.
but it was so crazy in your head. And then we were reading it again, and it was like, me with fresh eyes being like, yeah, it's a lot of
torture.
A lot of him going through some pain.
Not something I really want to read, but okay.
Yeah, nondescript pain again. Oh, here it goes again. Nondescript pain. Here he comes.
Exactly.
And he's back.
He's back.
One of my favorite Dakota Johnson quotes there.
Oh, what is it from?
Oh, so for those who don't know, Dakota Johnson, one of my favorite people ever, because I think that she should just be put on a press tour every day, because she's just the funny. Like
she's very
just
funny.
So funny.
She is very funny.
Like whether she means to be or not, she just has some of the most iconic quotes. But that one in particular is when they asked her. She was in Madame Web, and they asked her to name the Spider-Man movies, and she was like, Spider-Man, here he goes. And then they were like, what's the sequel? And she was like, Spider-Man, and he's back.
And he's back. Love that. That's really, I
love her so much.
She's very funny.
She's the best.
Thank you at More Like. And then the next one, we have an email. Guess who emailed us? Our science consultant.
Is it?
Mr. Ryan.
My favorite.
Ryan, I haven't answered your email because my life has been very stressful and sad, so I apologize. This is your answer now. So Ryan says, hey, Morphin Buddies, I have to say, I'm really enjoying being your unofficial science consultant. Yay! If it's too much on your life, please
official.
Let us know.
It's official, by the way.
Yes.
It's not unofficial.
Yeah.
I think we've declared it. Hereby declared. It's official.
You did get an award for it.
We won't pay you. We have no money, but you do get
We have
awards.
Zero money. We have 0 money and 1 award.
Yeah. So you get it. Congratulations.
Yeah, exactly. So Ryan says, in episode for book 32, you asked me to weigh in on what would happen if someone morphed a morph-capable person, e.g. Tobias morphing Axe, and then became a Nothlit.
Right.
The reasoning goes that since the person you morphed can also morph, maybe you have the ability to morph in your Nothlit form. Interesting idea that I hadn't really considered before. Since there's no real scientific of morphing, I can't rely much on actual scientific principles to answer the question. But all I can do is take the best information in the books and my own headcanon, try to give the best answer possible. Here we go. Number 1, morphing is technology, not biology. There was no one, including Animorphs, that was born with the ability to morph. Great. Number 2. In book 20, Axe tries to describe the technology, saying that the cube causes, quote unquote, a cascading cellular regeneration tied to Z-space. And then he gets cut off.
Right.
What he's saying sounds mostly like nonsense to me, but the takeaway is that the device seems to alter your cells in some way that ties them to Z-space.
This is why I get confused, though, is because of that point right there. Because theoretically, if it's changing your cells, then, you know, we're literally reprogramming. So, like, you morph into somebody who can morph, then you theoretically should also be able to morph in that Nothlet form, right? So it is a little confusing because of that. But keep going. What's
Number 3, you usually can't go straight from one morph to another without passing through your true form, which suggests to me that your morphed form is not tied to Z-space in the same way that your true form is. So I think when Rachel has her reaction in book 12, the reaction, and does go straight from one morph to another, it has something to do with Z-space connections being formed that shouldn't be there. Okay?
I see.
And then the last point, number 4, you can't acquire something in morph. The blue box doesn't work on Nothlets. And when you morph, your mass goes into Z-space intact. These facts make me think that being a Nothlet involves the fact that your true form is currently in Z-space, and staying past the 2-hour limit somehow makes it impossible to retrieve that mass. Wow, that makes a lot of sense. Mr. Ryan.
That's a great
Ryan.
answer. Yeah, that's a great answer. Definitely, like, flag that email in particular.
Yes.
I mean, flag them all, right. But flag that one in particular because if, fingers crossed, one day an HBO executive approaches us about adapting the series, I want to make that into dialogue at some point.
Yeah, I think
in
that would
the
be
series
super helpful.
to answer the question that people, because I think that's a great headcanonization of exactly what I think they're going for when they don't.
Yes, and Ryan, you explain it so simply. Love
great
that.
Email. Yet again.
He concludes with, this is a big hodgepodge of information that's hard to draw any conclusions from, but my gut says if you morph a morph-capable person, your morphed form cannot morph further. You have to return to your original form to retrieve your mass from Z-space before you can do any more morphing. I feel like that's an unsatisfying answer, or at least a really unsatisfying way to get to that answer, but that's the best that I come up with. What do you think? Did that make any sense at all? I'm excited for the next several episodes because we have some really good books and some really, all caps, bad books coming down the pipeline.
Oh, no.
Yes! Yes, Ryan!
Shit.
Yes!
Well, that's the most exciting way you could possibly end the email, so thank you so much for that. Yes, it does make perfect sense.
Yes.
And no, I don't care that it's, like maybe like an out there theory or whatever he said in there, because at least you tried to broach the subject.
Yeah.
And I think that's the main thing that Casey and I are critical of often, is that sometimes we have these questions and it doesn't feel like they're willing to go there in these books. And so I like us sort of extrapolating out and trying to figure out exactly where the path leads. And especially when we have a scientist helping us out, it does make it a lot easier, because I'm big stupid, as I've said many times on the show.
Oh my God, me too. Gianni, we're both big stupids.
Me big stupid. Me big
old
stupid.
dum-dum. Do you remember when you
big
were like,
stupid.
I'm
big heart, big little brain.
Little brain, smooth brain. You remember when you were like, I'm
No
the
Richard
dumbest McDummy dum-dum on the world.
Yep. And I stand by that. and I've always said that.
Sometimes I think when I hear people say in the world, I think on the world, and then I make myself laugh a little bit.
I like on the world because you are also on the world.
Yeah.
You're in the world, but you are also on it. You know?
Yeah, and you are the main
Food for
character
thought.
of everyone's stories. So you are literally on top of the world.
And I've always said that.
And don't let anybody tell you any different, Gianni.
Exactly. Thank you so much for saying so.
You're welcome.
Ugh,
I'm always here to hype you
when
up.
People write to the show.
Yes.
It's so nice.
Yes. You guys are all fantastic. We love you so much. You give us so much joy.
Truly the sweetest. Truly the sweetest little sweetie babies.
Sweetest
I don't know how
little
we
sweetie
found
babies.
you.
Is that a giant Snapple that does not have a fact on it?
Correct. Yeah.
Gianni,
this is one of those ones that doesn't have. I don't know why they don't do the facts. I'm gonna have to write in.
You have
and
to make up a
complain.
fact.
Ooh, oh.
Give me a
Oh my
fact.
God, no one's asked me to do that before. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Give me a fact.
Okay. I'm just looking around my apartment trying to look at things and see what I.
What's
see what dumb
factual
things I
right
know
in
about
front of
things.
me?
Okay, so I have Ship of Magic, a book that's sitting right here. So I'll say this is my fun fact. Robin Hobb wrote in 1996. She wrote the first book in her series, which then became, the Farseer trilogy, which then became like her whole Realm of the Elderling series. So she published a new book every year for 16 years. So that's my fun fact for you today. So if you, my fun fact is also to inadvertently get you all to start reading Robin Hobb, because wow, what a brilliant author. So if you're interested in the Realm of the Elderlings, you should start with The Assassin's Apprentice. It's
Love that.
the first in that series, and it is amazing, and it should be the next Game of Thrones. But it's also, one, already finished, and two, way harder to do than Game of Thrones, because all of the magic is like cerebral and very, very difficult to film.
Cool.
So,
Cool.
But if they want to hit me up, I'd love to make it. Because she should be as famous as J.K. Turf Rowling.
Sorry, we
But
don't
that's
like
my-
her.
that's my
Who
fun
is
fact.
she? Who is she? The woman that just doubles
Who?
down and decides to hate on people because they're not bothering her?
Never heard
Never
of
heard
this.
of her.
Rowling, you say?
Now listen, I love the Harry Potter books with all my heart and soul. Can't stand the author. Remember when she was like, "Oh, Dumbledore was gay," and Filch was sad and lonely all his life, and
Yeah.
Hermione was
Also,
black.
Hermione's
and,
black, yeah.
and everyone's like, "All right, JK, that's enough," and she's like, and Harry Potter should have ended up with Hermione, and I don't know why I didn't make them
Right.
do that, and it's like,
So
ma'am,
true.
that's enough. That's Dumbledore is gay is
So
enough.
true, bestie.
That's, you don't need any more.
Yeah, the retconning is particularly egregious, but also, I'm so sorry to say, not the biggest Harry Potter fan. I think that they're great for, introduction to fantasy. I think baby's first fantasy. I think
Sure.
they're great for that.
Sure.
And they're super, super readable. But so many plot holes.
There are a
so
lot
many.
of plot
Can't
holes.
get
That's
past.
true. That's true.
Can't get past. And honestly, I would be so down to reread the Harry Potter books and talk about them on this podcast after we were done with the Animorphs, except I don't want to give her any more attention. So
No,
sorry,
I don't
we've already
either.
talked about her too much.
I don't either. I'm not interested in the new show. I'm not interested in any of the movies. I'm not interested in giving her any money whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, she's plenty fine without it, and
Yeah.
she does not care about my opinion. So
No.
that's is what
No.
it is.
Exactly.
But yeah,
I
there you go.
will say, I remember when my family went to Sedona, Arizona for a family vacation when I was in high school. And the most memorable thing outside of going to see the Grand Canyon, the second most memorable part of that trip for me was waking up in the morning in Sedona, and first thing we did, my dad took me to a bookshop to buy the 7th Harry Potter book, which had just come out that day. And and I was begging my dad, let's go at 9 a.m. Let's go. We got to get the book. And I finished it in 2 days and cried my little eyes out in the back seat of the minivan.
Yeah, I think it's funny, our whole generation has very similar stories, because I remember a very similar moment in my life, but it was for The Half-Blood Prince, the 6th book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is also, unfortunately, my favorite book in the series. Everybody says that series only gets bad after the 4th one, and unfortunately,
I don't
they're
think
wrong,
so.
'cause
Yeah, I don't think so at
Half-Blood
all.
Prince is the best one. The problem with the book is that, or the problem with the book series is that she never knew where it was going, so she couldn't anticipate.
Yeah.
So she would just create things like, the Time Turner, for
Yep.
instance, which could have disrupted the entirety of the plot, and then didn't know how to
No,
bring
we throw
back
it away.
into
We never
existence.
use it
So-
again.
And that's just one thing.
We just can't bring back Cedric Diggory. We just can't do it. Nothing we can do.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. But you know what? Cool, iconic place in pop culture. And I think she has bad political opinions.
Very bad.
Well, she has one really political opinion.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes it bad.
She just
it's
won't.
her only thing that she puts a stake in the ground for, and it's just so happens to be attacking the most vulnerable minority group in the world.
Yes,
so,
yes. 1% of the
know,
population in the United States.
Yeah.
And, she just
But
won't
go
shut
nuts.
up about it. That's all she talks about now, which is very sad.
Yeah.
And if that's all you have to talk about to get you attention, ma'am, get a hobby. Stop being
Right.
a 50, 60-year-old white woman. Stop it. Stop it right now.
But you guys listening to the podcast, keep watching her new things and keep buying her new whatevers, and she will keep being loud.
Yep.
So
Yep.
unfortunately, until the money stops, it's just gonna keep going.
Yep.
So it is what it is.
Exactly. So a lot of people aren't happy that the new series is coming out, and a lot of people are like, yeah, I'm not watching it. So get fucked.
It's certainly not my least favorite author in the world. I mean, there have been bigger falls from the platform.
Fall from grace. There you go.
Yeah. My brain is fried. I don't know if you guys remember, but I did go to a lot of weddings.
And my brain is fried too. It's crazy. So,
It'll be great.
speaking of fried brains, how was book 34 of the prophecy? Did it fry your brain?
Yeah, so a little bit. Yeah, this is I had said this. I can't remember what episode now, but there was a book a couple episodes ago where I had opened with something to the effect of, I'm processing this in real time. Like, I just finished this book, and so my thoughts are going to be very jumbled, and we're going to try to figure out how I actually feel about it in real time.
Yes.
I literally just finished this book before I text you, and was like, let's do the whatever.
Yeah.
Let's do the pod.
For the reminder for the folks, this is the one on the cover where Cassie is turning into a Hork-Bajir, and Gianni did not like her long ass neck on the cover.
I did not at all. It awoke a fear in me. I do not know what it is called, but it is a phobia of things with long limbs, and it really hits me in a place that I do not like, and I'm actively like avoiding looking at the cover right now on my phone. But there is it's the cover that looks like a Basquiat art piece.
Oh, it does.
But anyway, so I'm going to try to figure out how I feel about this book in real time through talking about it. What I can tell you is that there's good things. I don't think the book is bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's very, like, inoffensive in terms of the overarching plot and everything that it puts forth. And I actually think that the way it ends does have some implications, or potentially big implications on stuff to come. But I guess time will tell. But it seems like where the book leaves off seems to give us some momentum, particularly with the Hork-Bajir and whatever they decide to do with them moving forward. Hopefully in whatever climatic fight we bring them back out for. So that's interesting. I think that where the book loses me is actually, I don't think that the main conceit of the plot, I don't even think needs to happen. I think you can do everything else in the plot without putting now I'm blanking on
Aldrea?
her name. Aldrea, yes, inside of Cassie, because if you haven't read the book or whatever for some reason, then obviously we'll talk about the plot in a few minutes. But the whole premise is ostensibly that we're putting the mind of Aldrea inside someone, like a body that can contain it, and then it sort of splits narration between Cassie and Aldrea, who are sharing Cassie's body, as they try to have Aldrea lead them to a thing. The thing ends up being entirely inconsequential, but everything else that happens ends up being consequential. So, kind of whatever. It's really just a way to, I guess, get some intriguing back and forths between Aldrea, who is a character I remember liking as a narrator back in the Hork-Bajir Chronicles, but not a character I necessarily needed to see again. And I like the emotion that they're able to sort of derive from the Aldrea stuff, particularly at the end, but ultimately I think all of it is kind of inconsequential to everything else that happens. So I don't know that it was there for any purpose other than basically just gassing up Cassie and a little bit Axe. There's like a part in the middle where Axe and Jake, unfortunately, but when there's like a part in the middle with some action sequence that's pretty cool that is basically just about Aldrea and Axe kind of bonding over a shared understanding of Andalite warfare, and then also Aldrea just sort of acknowledging that, wow, Jake's pretty good, which I obviously hate.
I knew you would.
But is what it is. It's otherwise Jake's pretty inoffensive in this book, but then it's really just exists for Aldrea to not trust that the humans are gonna do the right thing or gonna do anything effective, and then they surprise her, and then she's like, well, I guess the war is in good hands. And then that's pretty much all it exists for. And I think that there's probably some more interesting things we could have done with Aldrea if the whole plot is circling around that as its main point. Now, that being said, I mean, everything else in the book's pretty inoffensive. I think that there's some exciting action scenes. I think that the whole climatic action scene is actually one of the worst parts of the book to me, just because it got very confusing.
It was
just
a little
in terms
confusing.
of like spatial awareness and stuff.
I would agree with that.
I really lost me. I like the idea of Cassie just being so adept at this that she's able to combine different morphs and mix and match different elements. Like, that's something that I think I've been waiting for in a real way like this for a long time, and I think that it's very, very cool how they pull that off. Where that fight scene loses me, though, is that I did not really realize that they were in water for a long time until they outright are talking about it. Then I was like, wait, now I'm lost.
Hang on,
now I don't know where the hell we are. And then the whole thing got really confusing from that point then on. But I mean, the broad strokes, you get it. Like,
you're like, all right, I guess we're here.
So the sharks and stuff. I was like, okay. So like, once you just sort of buy in, but I think it did like a kind of weird and almost, I would say, poor job of sort of setting this scene.
Yeah, it felt a little clunky and confusing, and it wasn't completely... It felt like you had written a couple drafts of this book, and then you decided to mix them together, but you accidentally mixed some of the pages up, and it was last minute, and you're like, let's just put it together. And
feels like they didn't do the through line to connect those different set piece moments.
It felt more like they had to get this book out now rather than fixing all the details. Which is not to say anything bad against the ghostwriter who wrote this. No, I mean, like, everybody's... No. It's probably anybody beholden to a deadline is gonna, especially if it's a rushed deadline for a very popular book series, there's gonna be mistakes. There's gonna be some things that aren't as clean as they should be, but because these books are marketed towards preteens and teenagers, they're not really going to care too much about it being perfect. And that's okay. That's not a terrible, awful, horrible thing. It's just, it is what it is sometimes. But
I blame the editor. I'm never going to blame a ghostwriter, especially for something like this. I mean, there's these, I would never even really blame K.A. Applegate herself, because the turnaround time on these books is insane. Like,
I'm sure.
Even if we're only writing 150 pages or less, the turnaround time is nuts. What she was able to pull off in like however many years, it wasn't that many. It's insane. So I mean, I would never. But it's an editor problem. It seems like it's one of those things.
Especially if you don't have a lore master keeping track of all the history that you've already written, it gets very difficult to try to remember character arcs and things that you've already said that could happen and could not happen, and keeping those consistent throughout the series. And
that's actually why I'm not to get too tangential, but we had pitched or like soft pitched different ideas for what we may do with this podcast after we're done with the Animorphs. And I remember one of the ideas was like picking up one of her later series, and I'm really curious if she's able to like learn those lessons in the series after Animorphs. So I really all this really does is just kind of make me more interested in K.A. Applegate as an author moving forward. But anyway, so, like that's you know, again, just sort of a sidebar and just something to keep in mind for the future. But yeah, I mean, all in all, this is, I think, one of the better Cassie books.
Yeah,
might be the best. I can't even remember the last time I really liked a Cassie book.
Yeah, I think you're right.
She's been, even the faults of her character didn't bother me this time around. Mm-hmm. I thought they were going to, because there's a part right towards the end where she's sort of remarking to herself about you know, the Yerk loss of life and you know, just sort of like, it's kind of one of those cost of war sentiments.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to bug me because I thought she was going to make a big deal out of it, but the book makes it into like a very inoffensive sort of acknowledgement of, you know, the cost of war, and it there's like a brief conversation between Axe and Aldrea shortly thereafter where Axe essentially compares them in terms of, you know, like species on being on like a very similar emotional plane, because it's like, yeah, obviously we have to do what we have to do, but you know, the cost of war is going to affect anybody in terms of their own personal emotionality. So yeah, even the things that I would be critical of Cassie for, like her sensitivity to Nazis, is not something that's that big of a deal in this one, because it's able to talk about it in a little bit more of a nuanced way that doesn't feel like it's overly oppressive on the book, which is different from, you know, that, what was it, book 19, which everybody hails as like the best Cassie book, which I'm sorry, you guys are all wrong. But yeah, this felt like this felt like it was able to acknowledge the exact same thing, though, without making it a central thematic issue, and I like that way better.
Yeah, I do too.
But yeah, I mean, so ultimately, I think it's a good book. This is a good one. This is not. I don't think it's gonna change anybody's opinion about the Animorphs. You know, if you really like the series or if you really hate the series, I don't think it's gonna completely sway you. I don't think it's the one I would point to and be like, you got to read this right now. But I definitely think. I mean, and certainly in terms of the ghostwriting of it, definitely one of the better ones that we've had in the series. This was a good time. I think that all of its worst moments are really just like the climatic battle sequence, and I think that the main conceit of the plot is kind of unnecessary. But everything else I quite like. But I don't know, what did you think of it?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I did think the main battle at the end was a little bit confusing to follow, or hard to follow. And I do think the very end was a bit rushed. And I was like, wait, how did we get here? What? Like, let me reread this again. Which, again, leads me to the belief that this book, I think, was rushed out to get out on time. But I did like the plot of this book. I thought it was really fun and really interesting. I like the idea of Aldrea being in Cassie's head and them trying to both figure out, like, feel each other's emotions, how to recognize who has control of Cassie's body, and the struggle that was done. I thought it was very silly where they're like, well, we let her spirit in, but we don't know if she'll come back out after. And it's like, what do you mean? We don't have a backup plan? And he's like, well, no. So it's like, then why would we do this? Like, wait, right. Like, what? Yeah. You can't, she's 12. Like, you can't.
It felt like a really misguided decision from the jump. But also, I don't know. I mean, why did the Arn even give them the choice? Like, I think that for an entity whose whole design is, and I get it, because I can't remember the Arn's name in this one, but
it's a Q name.
They claim to be. Yeah. They claim to be the last of them, and when they sort of present the option, it's very much like a choice, but there's no other way to find these weapons unless we put the whatever. And I understand that the Arn's reasoning is that this is their sort of redemption tour because they feel bad about what they subjected the Hork-Bajir to. And if that's true, fine. I actually think it's way more interesting, though, if the Arn is on a redemption tour, but is still just inherently sort of, for lack of a better term, a sinister being. Or
nefarious.
Entity. Yeah, like, I mean...
That's what I thought, too. Yeah, I thought him, at first, when he was like, oh, yeah, come down to my workshop. And I was like, why? Why? This feels very, come into my van, I have candy.
I would rather them just do it. And I think let the audience have complicated, mixed feelings about what the Arn did, because you can see the logic in it, and you can see that the Arn is trying to do the right thing, but doesn't necessarily have the same moral code as some of the other species that we root for in these series. I think that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Instead, they just say, oh, the Arn is actually just a good guy now,
but
trying to make weapons of mass destruction out of these Hork-Bajir, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, whatever. But you know, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I do. And I kind of felt the same way, because he took everybody back to the Hork-Bajir planet. And then he's like, look, the planet's destroyed. I need to make more Hork-Bajir to fix the planet and create an army. And in my head, I was like, well, you're just upset that your planet is destroyed. And for you to survive, you have to fix your planet. Therefore, you don't really care about the Hork-Bajir. You just want your home to be comfortable again. And that was my thought. And I was like, ooh, that would be interesting if he's like, well, I don't really care. I just want my home back. And it's like, well, we want our home back on Earth too.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
You know. And
I would love to have some complicated feelings about the Arn.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great one. I think totally can coexist with my pitch to just have them just force it on Cassie and just be like, well now you're here. Now you have this thing in your head. If you want it out, then do what I say. Yeah. And we can make good things happen together.
Would have made a lot more tension. It would have made it more morally ambiguous and complex in terms of feelings and empathy.
I love an anti-hero, and I wish that these books leaned into those more.
A little bit more,
we have Visser 3's twin or whatever.
Oh, yeah, we forgot. Oh, I totally forgot about Jim Bob.
Just Batman moonlighting out there somewhere.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen him since. And I want that character back so bad. I would think that this series really could use some moral ambiguity. And we have all these opportunities. I say we just lean into it. But, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But all in all, good book. Good book. Totally worthwhile.
Excellent. Well, let's just dive into it. Let's get it 40 minutes into the podcast.
No, well, we've gotten pretty good at making these plots speedier, I think.
Yeah,
but I
think
don't know.
so.
I mean, our last episode is it was like raw audio was like an hour and 40 minutes, so I don't know. We'll see.
But that was fun. Anyway. It was fun.
What I would say is, okay, so this book starts out obviously with the usual rigmarole of Cassie sort of updating the audience this might be your first Animorphs book, and this is the stuff that we're dealing with, and blah blah blah. There's something that she says where she's like talking directly to the reader, and she's like, you know, a Yeerk. And I was like,
excuse me.
Well, I hope that you're writing this from well into the future when you guys have already defeated them, but okay. Regardless, she's basically breaking into her teacher's house because she accidentally turned in with her homework a little doodle that basically says "I love Jake" on it.
Cassie loves Jake.
She and Rachel are working together.
Wait, did you ever
to try
do
to
that
get this doodle back
in school? Did you ever write little Gianni loves blah 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 blah? Did you ever do little doodles in your notebook?
I don't think so. I don't think I did.
You missed out.
I don't think I did.
You missed out.
I want to say no. I think I just got puss instead. I really.
I think I just got puss like a G.
Yeah, I kind of just balled out. No, I truly don't remember. I don't think I ever did anything like that. Not that I didn't do cringe-worthy and
I was cringe
overly
city.
affectionate stuff all the time, but and still do. By the way.
Oh my God, we're theater kids. We sit on the floor. We don't use chairs.
Oh yeah, I mean, dude, what I would give to give myself just 10% confidence, I think I could have gotten laid way more. But regardless, I always say we talk about sex more often on this podcast than
I was just thinking about that yesterday too.
Yeah, which is not to say that we talk about sex a lot on this podcast. But it's not zero.
It's more than you think.
More than most. That's more than most would expect. But but so yeah, she's trying to get this doodle back. Rachel's roasting her about it. They end up getting it. Whatever. It's like a fun little opener, but it really doesn't have any overarching bearing. They go back to Cassie's barn. Look who's waiting for her. It's Jara Hamid, our favorite little Hork-Bajir buddy, and they're like. In their very broken English, they basically tell them, we got to come back to the little village,
the hidden valley,
basically
the ranch.
Yeah, there's an Arn there, which is the alien species. In case you forgot, this book does tell you, but it's the alien species that we found out about in the Hork-Bajir Chronicles that basically created the Hork-Bajir and was using them for their own
slave labor to keep the planet clean.
Yes, that's
not
exactly
literally
how I would
slave
describe
labor, but they were like,
but basically,
you guys clean the
like,
planet. You can live your lives, clean the planet, do whatever you want, keep the planet clean.
They were bred with the intention of yes, and so
like using goats to eat grass instead of mowing the lawn. Right. It's like that.
Yeah. It's like breeding cows for slaughter.
Yeah.
Unethical, perhaps, but that's basically what has happened.
Also,
so, there's an Arn at the village. Oh, sorry.
I did want to say, in this little bit, Marco did say the Phantom Menace was very cool, and I just thought that was funny because it was cool to me when it came out.
If I was Marco's age when the Phantom Menace came out. I also would think that's the coolest thing.
It was the pod racing scene. Psh, boy, forget about it. That was so cool.
Yeah. But I think it was Chris Stuckman that put it beautifully in his analysis of that scene in particular. Stuckman has a video breakdown of all the Star Wars, I think. But in that scene in particular, he was like, almost all of the edits are the same. It's kind of amazing that the scene is hailed as being a really good racing scene because literally the camera pans from left to right 4 times in a row.
Oh, does it really?
And I was like, wow, I never noticed that before, but you're right. And I do remember that scene very fondly, but then I go back and watch it. It's tainted now that I had seen it that way. I still think the pod racing is good, and I still think Duel of the Fates is the best. It's probably the best choreographed fight scene in all of Star Wars, and it also is maybe the best song in all of Star Wars. So you got to give Phantom Menace its credit. However, I'm a big anything outside of the original trilogy hater.
Same. Except for Jar Jar Binks. We love Jar Jar Binks. He's our favorite.
Talk about revisionist history. That's crazy. That's the craziest thing you may have ever tried to get away with on this podcast. That is so funny.
I knew it would not slide.
I don't mind Jar Jar Binks, but also you have to bear in mind
he's so obnoxious.
You and I were the key demographic though for Jar Jar Binks when that movie came out. We were
all the merchandise.
We were exactly who they were going for.
Forget about it.
So I will always have nostalgia for Jar Jar Binks. I understand.
I do too. Mm-hmm.
I understand.
He's a
people
problem,
hating,
but God, kind of love him. Gotta love him.
I could talk about Star Wars for forever, but yeah, I mean we'll get sidetracked, I'm sure, on something else. But anyway, so to go back to the plot, they go to the Hidden Valley. They end up talking to Toby, who, if you're an audience person that doesn't remember, Toby is the chosen one, quote unquote, of the Hork-Bajir.
The different Hork-Bajir.
There's one Hork-Bajir person, who
very
has
smart.
Yeah, who has a semblance of intelligence that far exceeds the average Hork-Bajir. They're hailed as the seer. They have prophetic visions sometimes.
It's kind of like The Giver. If you've ever read the book The Giver, it's the main kid in The Giver that learns colors and learns, oh shit, they're killing babies.
Right, except they're not bred to be sacrificed like The Giver. Yeah. I remember loving The Giver. That was my favorite book when I was young.
It's a great book.
I haven't read it since I was young though. I should go back and reread it.
It was a banned book for a time because they said it was too much for children, and I read it as a children, and it didn't fuck me up. I loved that book.
Yeah,
so,
I too read it as a children, and I remember loving that book, but I have not read it since then, and I wonder how it holds up.
I want the book for myself. I want a hard copy of the book in my collection of books. So I don't have it. but Christmas gift.
I will bear that in mind. Yeah, for your Christmas gift right there.
Thank you.
All right, so they talk to Toby. Toby's sort of a little bit explaining that an Arn just sort of showed up out of nowhere in a stolen Yerk bug fighter ship. The Arn then sort of explains for themselves. They say that they're the last of this species. They weirdly bust out this number. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like 415 days or something that they have left to live, which I was like, first of all, knowing that, crazy. Second of all, do you mean Earth days, or do you like?
Do you mean Hork-Bajir days?
Yeah, because you like other planets have other day night cycles.
Different days.
So I don't know how you're measuring this, but okay. So I was like,
that's a good
suspicious.
Point, actually.
It doesn't go anywhere, but I was like suspicious, obviously.
But
they say they have this thing, and I apologize because I do not remember any of the names of any of the things, but maybe if you have notes, I don't know, you can help me. But they have this thing that's like a vial of something, and you ingest it, and it's going to basically give the essence of, or the soul of, or the thoughts of Aldrea, who was the Andalite main character from the Hork-Bajir Chronicles, who ended up falling in love with Dak, the other main character of the Hork-Bajir Chronicles, and then famously Aldrea had become a Nothlit, turned into Hork-Bajir themselves, and lived out the rest of their days sort of hating that the Andalites got involved in the war, because they sort of just made the Hork-Bajir into war fighters and didn't let them live peacefully.
And she was part of the Hork-Bajir rebellion, and so she has a stash of weapons somewhere. And the Arn, whose name I wrote down, it's very difficult.
It was an insane name, I remember. I was like, how am I even gonna... It's
Kwafi Jinivon. That's the best I can describe.
Brilliant.
I'll call him Q.
Honestly, you nailed it.
Yeah, thanks. So Q says he wants to collect DNA from the free Hork-Bajir in the valley on Earth, take that DNA back over to the Hork-Bajir planet, redo the species, essentially, make clones and make a Hork-Bajir army, and use the weapons that Aldrea stashed somewhere on the planet to lead a rebellion against the Yerks again, and to take back their planet. Cool idea. Sounds a little suspicious, in my opinion.
I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. That sounds like a little too risky for the Animorphs to volunteer themselves.
Oh, no.
And you would be wrong. They immediately are like, Rachel's like, I'll do it. And then...
Everyone's like, he didn't even explain the plan yet.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
Yes. But someone has to ingest this thing.
Yeah.
And so finally they're like, let's just do it.
We have to do a whole ceremony. And Q was like, well, we can't say where Aldrea's personality is going to go. It's essentially like, I open the vial, and Aldrea's personality is going to go into whoever she deems worthy. Right. And so they don't know who it's going to go into. So Toby's like, I'll try. And Rachel's like, I'll do it. And everyone's just kind of standing around watching the ceremony. And Q starts the ceremony, releases the vial. And then Cassie's like, my heart's beating really fast. And then she's like, I feel really weird. There's something in my brain. And she's like, why did I get chosen? And Aldrea is in Cassie's brain.
But she outright says, like, it ends the chapter with Cassie being like, I accept.
Yeah.
So she does, I don't know, it's like a talk to me situation.
Oh, yeah,
you have to invite it in.
Yeah.
But
she accepts.
But yeah, so
Aldrea.
she does accept. It's a weird sort of process where Aldrea is still able to keep a lot of her opinions and thoughts to herself.
Yeah.
They are very much separated inside of Cassie's body, but then they have to like sort of do a give and take to offer up control.
Yeah.
So and they have like their own sort of side conversations as well.
Yeah.
But it's really just them sort of getting a feel for each other. Aldrea is obviously very upset to learn that she's dead, because in
Dak
her mind a week ago that Dak was there, but it's now been generations since she passed.
Yeah.
So
and
it's a very jarring experience.
Also, Q has said to everyone, well, once we put Aldrea in somebody's body, we don't know if we can get her back out. And everyone just seems to be chill with this.
Or she can't.
It's like,
she could also choose not to, which is like, why would we do
yeah,
this?
I would not, as a 14-year-old child. I would not, but
No, I wouldn't either, actually, at all.
Yeah.
That's crazy, but they do. So then at some point...
wait. One last thing.
Oh, yeah, go
When they
ahead.
find out that Cassie was the one that Aldrea chose, Rachel has this great line where she says, she chose Cassie? Ugh, I feel so 10 minutes ago. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, that's such a 90s line. I could feel that, like, coming from Clueless. Like, I was like, that is such a good line. Oh, I feel so 10 minutes ago.
Rachel never beating the best character allegations. She's still the GOAT.
Yes.
I love her so much, except when she's a starfish. But so they can now like sort of split time. I actually think some of these Aldrea chapters are written deliberately to showcase this ghostwriter's talent, because they are the best written chapters. They just often have the smallest bit to do with the actual plot of the book itself. But they are the best written ones.
It's more internal than external.
It's just like a sort of cerebral going through of experience. I think the first time that we really get Aldrea's perspective is her having a dream where then Cassie actually wakes up the body and then sort of like gets her out of the dream, which I thought was like I thought it was a really interesting concept, that you could still be dreaming with one half of your brain or personality while the other half is awake and trying to shake you out of it. I thought that was very cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
But yeah, it's really just her going through, these different stages of grief, a little bit mistrusting, but she understands the plan and she's sort of going to play along, but she's constantly sort of hemming and hawing about, whether or not these humans have her best interest or have the Hork-Bajirs' best interest. And obviously she went through everything. And she went through everything that she went through in the Hork-Bajir, rebellion and all that stuff. So obviously she's just inherently distrustful of Andalites and basically anybody that wants to be partaking in war in any facet.
She also
but
says,
she's going to play along.
She also says, I don't really know if I remember where I stored the weapons. I know where I probably stored the weapons, but I don't know for 100% certain. And everyone's like, what the actual fuck?
Yeah, it takes her a while to come clean about it, but they get really mad. And then this is really the only part of Jake that like bothered me. But there was a moment where he was like, we will end you if you make us distrust you again. Yeah. And first of all, even if that was true, my dear friend Jake, come sit, Jake.
Okay.
So come sit on Daddy's lap, and let me tell you, first of all, even if you were being truthful, that's stupid, because what do you mean?
He's going to kill Cassie.
What do you mean?
He's going to kill Cassie.
Yeah, how are you going to get her out? You're going to kill your girlfriend?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Are you dumb? Actually, because you won't even kill your brother the 9 different times that you've had the perfect opportunity to.
Gianni bros before hoes.
Yeah, you are dumb, and that is dumb, and that's dumb, and also that's dumb. And now, but back to our regularly scheduled programming. Yes. So they are traveling back to the home planet of the Hork-Bajir. As they're going, they end up running into some bug fighters that then they have to like get some codes, and then the code doesn't work on some bug fighters, and then they're going after each other, and then they're blasting them out of the sky, and then Axe and Aldrea are working together, and there's this whole thing where the ship like turns, and then everybody crashes into each other, and Cassie gets cut, but she's okay, but then like all kinds of craziness happens. That was definitely the best action sequence in the book. It has the littlest to do with the plot, but it is very fun. But Aldrea is able to at least see the capabilities of some of these human warriors, and is a little bit coming around to the idea that, maybe they are capable enough to help the Hork-Bajir or have their best interest at heart. This is the point in which, after they kind of get to the planet, she comes clean about not necessarily knowing where the weapons are. And Jake says that dumb thing. But then the Arn is like leading them, and then they go back basically to the village that Dak came from. They're talking about the pit, if you recall from the
Mother Sky
Chronicles, the pit
and Father
that goes
Beat.
that goes directly to the core of the planet.
Yeah.
They have a bit about getting scorched by molten lava, and Axe is like, no, you don't have to worry about that. Like, you'd probably die long before you ever hit the lava.
Which I thought that was so funny also. And
it was great.
And there was another part, I don't remember exactly where it was, but something happened where I think on the ship where everybody kind of tumbled and Marco fell on top of Cassie. And then Marco goes, shh, don't tell Jake. You know how jealous he is.
Yeah.
I was like, Marco, chill.
Yuck. Didn't like that one at all. But got it.
Oh, it was so funny. That made me laugh. I was like, dude, calling your best friend out. Love that.
Yeah.
So they go down and let's see. They go down Mother Sky, Father Deep into the core. Much of the planet has been destroyed by Yeerks. Q takes them.
Yeah, she's devastated about it. But as she's going through to where she thinks she might have hidden the weapons, which would literally just be near the valley where her whole family was. She's kind of a little bit. I wouldn't go as far as to say she's going through some semblance of psychosis, but she's definitely going through like a deeply emotional and personal journey in that she knows it's completely illogical that when she goes back to this village that she won't see her family, but there's a part of her that has this weird hope that
somebody will be there,
that they'll still be there. And so she's kind of reeling from that whole experience, but they get to, I guess, the spot where they think the weapon cache might be, and they realize that it's basically near or in what is now a Yeerk pool to some effect.
Yeerk pool.
Yeah, so they're like, well, if we have any shot of getting these weapons, we're going to have to also go through all of these Yeerks. It's a sort of fruitless endeavor. So they come up with a crazy plan that they, again, one of my biggest pet peeves in all of these books is that they never really reveal the plan. They just tell you that the plan is crazy, and then I always hate that. I wish as an audience person, just want to be up to date so that I can understand the stakes of an argument, and unfortunately, it's just another one of those occurrences where you're like, this plan is crazy. And Aldrea's like, there's no way we could do this. You guys can't pull this off. And then all of the Animorphs are like, no, we do crazy like this all the time. Like, I swear we could pull this off. They vote. They end up putting the plan into place. It basically requires Cassie to morph into half whale, half osprey. Yeah. Is that right? With the wings, right?
Which I was like, what? How can we... Have we done this? Can we do this? Is this allowed?
I don't know why, but like
it was kind of cool.
It was cool.
It was pretty cool.
I still don't really know what it.
No, I don't either.
Because again, spatial relationships get so weird. I picture a Yeerk pool though as like still a pool. Even if it's a huge Yeerk pool, I'm still picturing just a huge pool. So it's kind of, I don't know. The spatial relationship is just odd in general.
Yeah, because I thought. The plan, again, if you don't tell your audience the plan, it just leaves us guessing and trying to figure out what's going on. I thought the plan was going to be Cassie morphs Osprey, flies as high as she can, then she morphs, and as she's turning to human, then she turns to whale, slam down on the dam,
splashes,
and spreads
all
the Yeerk pool juices out. I read this book like a week ago, so I don't 100% remember if that's exactly what happened.
But then they're in the water. Then they're in the water for like dumb long, and I was like, "Wait, what? How are we flying?"
And everybody
still?
was in Cassie's mouth when she was full whale to keep them safe.
Yes,
and I was like, "This is very complex and confusing." What?
I was so lost. I'm glad I wasn't the only one because I thought I missed something.
I was definitely.
I was
so
like,
"What are we, Geppetto? Get out of here."
All right. Yeah.
Jonah, get out of here.
Okay, great. I feel this makes me feel way better because I really was like, maybe I'm just not getting what this plan is. Okay. But the long and short of it is that Aldrea is super impressed that Cassie's able to like do this one, but also be so good at morphing too. She's like taking in shots from like different, whatever rays. I can't remember what they're called now. The beams. What are the shooting beams?
The Dracon beams? Again?
Thank you very much. She's taking shots from him, but she's a big whale body, so she's fine. Yeah. She has to morph into human for a second. She has to get air.
Also,
Aldrea's all worried about it.
They get air. Pool. If she's morphing human and it's full of Yeerks, if it's a football field of Yeerks.
This is what I'm saying. What are we talking about? Yeah, what are we talking about?
We can't
I don't
do
get it.
You
But so
can't
then-
do this. You can't do this.
But she's like, trust my friends, and sure enough, there's like taxons in there, but the taxons get ripped apart by the other animorphs who are now sharks.
Yeah.
And then
But then
the full whale of Cassie like lands in.
Full whale.
Oh no, I got this backwards. So first she lands in, then she lets them go.
Mm-hmm.
Then they become sharks and distract the rest of the Yeerks while she morphs into a human. Then she goes up. Then she morphs back to a Hork-Bajir,
Yes.
right?
And then she's
And
looking
then-
around for Aldrea's home, which was in a tree, which is where she's likely stored all the weapons inside the tree. It was part of the dam.
Right.
And so Aldrea's
Right.
like, there's a secret entrance here, but it's under the water, so you got to go underwater. Again, she's a Hork-Bajir. We've established Hork-Bajirs can be yerked. How are
Yep.
there not yerks just fighting to get into
Everywhere.
her scalp?
Yeah, I guess they just made a pool that's so massive that they can't. I don't know why they made a pool this
They're
big.
all just
They
chill
can't
as fuck.
inhabit it.
They don't need more people.
But
I
so
don't
then
know.
they find the cache, but the only way is they have to get onto like a ship and then like shoot it out.
Yeah, they have to
They-
shoot out the tree to get out of
They
it.
they end up making a hole, and then all of the Yeerks are like sucked into this hole, and
Yes.
then I guess like die, and then Cassie remarks to herself about how sad she is that.
Oh, yeah, I was-
well, not like directly sad, but basically just like the cost of war is that all of these Yeerks aren't going to come back.
I
But
did put in my
Aldrea
notes-
is like blown away by her.
I put in my notes, Cassie is sympathizing with Yerks again. And I was like, don't.
I was worried.
Don't.
I was worried.
Don't do it.
I was worried, but
then
it doesn't
okay.
go there.
It was okay,
And I was
yeah.
like, okay.
Yeah.
Then
Aldrea
Aldrea has a conversation with Axe,
Yep.
which I talked about earlier.
Civilized
and it
species.
was a good button.
Yeah, they said civilized species must. Blah, blah. I can't say words right now. I have a
Sound
new
great. Sound
Invisalign
great.
liner, and it's just fucking with my speech.
Sounds really
Axe and Aldrea discuss war, and they say civilized species must share a hatred for war. And I agree. And I was like, wow, that's actually kind of timely with what's happening in the United States right now with Trump's
true,
Gestapo. Cool.
good. So true,
So
bestie.
true. So
yeah.
true. So true. Can't wait for next
Yeah, if you
year.
couldn't tell from our podcast about the Animorphs, we're liberal as fuck.
Yes.
No, but we live into the sun, baby, and so does Aldrea, apparently, because this really changes her mood. She realizes that she can't just keep staying in this body, that there's nothing for her here. Her life is gone.
Yeah.
She's going to return to this jar, I guess. I don't know how that works, but she's going to do it. So she relinquishes her hold. Cassie tells her she doesn't have to, but she's going to do it anyway. And the final lines of the book are basically just her remembering, dreaming about her family, and wishing that she could see them again.
But this
someday.
is the thing that was confusing. There was a bit of this at the end that was very rushed, and I was like, wait, hang on, I can't skip over this, where Aldrea suddenly decides, oh, Cassie, I'm going to stay. And she tells the group that, and then Axe takes his tail blade and puts it against Toby's throat and says, I will kill Toby if you don't get out of Cassie. And then Aldrea's like, oh shit, that's my great-granddaughter. All right, I'm out. And that's what gets her to leave Cassie. And I was like, wait, this is literally like 2 paragraphs, and then the moment's over. And I'm like, you can't make it that quick. Like, this was such like a hard left turn for me.
I totally must have been glazed over because I don't even remember that.
Yeah, because
but
it's
that must
so
be how brief
short.
it was because I really don't even remember that at all.
It's
I just remember being affected by like the very last paragraph of the thing
Yeah.
where she's like, and I like wistful about her. I don't even remember that Axe threatened Toby's life. That's crazy.
He did, because Aldrea told the group, I'm going to stay in Cassie's body and there's nothing you can do about it, essentially. And she said this right after Cassie was like, oh, it's been really nice to have you and you can stay if you want, but I understand if you feel like you need to leave. And then she's like, okay, then I'm staying. And it's like, what? You just had this really nice conversation, and now we have to threaten your great-grandchild in order for you to get the fuck out of a body
Yeah,
you don't belong in.
that really diminishes a lot of the emotional impact at the end.
That's why I had such a problem with it. I was like, what? Why did you have to put that in last minute? Why did you try to make her a villain?
Strange.
I felt like I think this is some kind of editor that was like, well, we need one last big thing before the end of the book. We can't just have it end on a good note. And it felt so bizarre and out of left field and sudden after everything that we had just built up in this relationship between Cassie and Aldrea and them understanding each other.
Yeah, it's the whole crux of the arc is that she understands that that her time has come and gone. And,
read the last chapter again. You'll see it, and it'll be like, wait, what? Where?
I'm
Why?
gonna do it. I'm gonna do it right after we get off the
Please
phone.
do.
Like, wow,
and then text me about it because it's crazy.
I ignored this. That's wild.
Yeah, crazy. But then she does go back in the bottle. There is a nice little thing of her being like, "Oh, I remember," and then it just kind of fades out, and she
fades out.
She gets back in the bottle. So
which is perhaps ironically the only part that I remember.
But it was a good part. I liked it. I liked it.
It's great. Yeah,
But I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was really exciting in a lot of different points. I liked the idea of Aldrea and Cassie sharing a body. I think that was fun. I kind of agree with what you said. Like, we don't necessarily have to bring her back for all of this. No. We could just say, we're going to go look in Aldrea's home because that's where we think the weapons have been stored. Where else would they be on the planet? And then we could just do the adventure.
I'm fine with it. If we're adapting the TV show in the Dream Universe, so we're adapting this into the TV show, and we're in the writer's room, I imagine that it's probably going to be, there maybe will be people that are passionate about including Aldrea as like a major part of this story. I don't think it needs to be.
I don't think it's totally necessary. I think what would be more interesting is if we had video diaries from Aldrea that Cassie would watch.
I was thinking about that too. The only thing that I think you're missing, just speaking out loud, right? And we can come up to some sort of consensus through this. But the only thing I think you're missing if you don't have Aldrea as an active character in the present moment is you're missing the acknowledgement from someone else of how good Cassie is at morphing.
Yes.
Specifically, which is like the whole part of the climax that's actually important is really just acknowledging how impressed Aldrea is that Cassie is as talented as she is at doing what her people invented, basically, right? So I think that I think the video diary thing is totally could totally work, and it could get you a lot of those emotional beats. I would almost want it to be like I'm thinking of some sort of, I don't know why Halo is the only thing that's coming to mind, but like a Cortana sort of AI impression of Aldrea that exists.
It's like an iRobot. James Corden and iRobot. Not James Corden. Ew.
Like it has its own it has its own like independent thought, quote unquote, but it's all just data that's been stored and saved from examining or looking at the life so thoroughly of Aldrea that it basically exists as Aldrea, even though it's not, and having that sort of be the guide of them to this weapon cache. I think that could make more sense rather than just introducing this other MacGuffin where we create circumstances where she because again, like you were saying, like it really does water down the emotionality of it. And then if she has to sort of sacrifice herself at the end to get them this weapon cache, blow up the station or whatever and create the sinkhole that way, I think that actually makes for a more emotional impact than her having to relinquish the body of Cassie, something to that effect. So I like that as an adaptive source, because then you also can get like a physical embodiment of Aldrea, and we would have seen what Aldrea kind of looked like in the Arc-Bajir Chronicles adaptation, which I think I'll have to look at my notes, but I think I still have it as like an animated movie, which I still like.
I like that idea. I think that's fun.
We'll see. But yeah, I think that that's like a better way. Even the Arn, I don't know. I mean, you kind of have to, especially if you're going to make a new company of Orc-Bajir people. So I guess you got to do the Arn, but you might not have to. I don't know. Toby could have just seen this in a vision that they have to go and get this weapons cache. We don't necessarily have to have the Arn.
I want him to be a little nefarious. I want him to be a
if
little
the Arn is
untrustworthy.
Yeah, if the Arn is there, then I think we should definitely play with the anti-hero element of that. The right idea, but for the wrong. Like if he thought he was lying about the weapon cache, and he actually just dragged them back there so that he could get the Orc-Bajir DNA and make new Orc-Bajir and made weapons cache up. That could be cool. Yeah. It could also be cool if he thought he was making the weapons cache up and then there actually was a weapons cache. I think that's totally fine as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, something that could
if he just
play with the morality.
If he just brought the Animorphs to the Orc-Bajir home planet to fight the Yeerks there and say, well, I'm not letting you go until you fix our planet. You're already fixing your planet. Your planet's fine right now. Come fix our planet. And that would be really interesting also. You know, and and then they find the weapons cache, and he's like, well, since you found us all these weapons, can I take your DNA while you're here, create more Orc-Bajir, and then I'll let you go home? Great.
Yeah.
Would love that.
Yeah. Yeah, but anything that could just play with the Arn's morality scale, I think would be really, really refreshing.
Really interesting.
And then the only other thing, and we didn't even talk about it in the plot because I just hate even talking about it at this point, is I just hate the whole the Chi are gonna be programmed versions of your they're at a sleepover. We don't gotta do
let them be at a sleepover.
We need to just make like whatever hyperlight travel just happens like almost instantaneously, you know. Make it Dune universe rules, like we fold the galaxies you know, together so that you could just travel right through. Just anything. I'm over the Chi. They're just a catch-all rule to fucking everything, and I'm sick of it. I roll my eyes now every time the Chi pop up, so that's the only other thing that I would really address or change. But yeah, everything else I like, and then obviously we would play with the climax, you know, just make it make a little more sense in terms of a visual scale, but that's all stuff that you would come to in an adaptive material, but that's basically what I would change.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Otherwise, I like this story, and I think it should be a part of the show.
I agree. Totally agree. Should we look at the next book?
All right. Is it The Proposal?
Yes. This is a good cover. I like this one.
Dude, what the Dude.
What? What's wrong with it?
What the fuck is this?
Look at the dog arms in the fourth one.
Why is the dog standing up on two legs? Why do they do this to me?
So
they had one other dog cover and they were like, no, it can't be on four legs this time. It's gotta be standing. You gotta be fucking kidding me with this shit. Look at this. We've
got Marco in a green button-up shirt, buttoned all the way up to the top, sleeves rolled up above the elbows, and he is morphing into a poodle with little blue bows.
I will say, he got that shit on, but... Okay, the blue bow's confusing as hell, because... Why? Are you implying that the poodle's DNA... has blue bows.
Are they just growths that I didn't know about? I confuse them for bows.
So gross.
Wow. Yeah. You know,
oh my
shame on
God.
Me. Do you like his dog face in the second picture?
No, his second picture face is awful. His third picture really face looks like
the ears. It looks like
I hate to bring up Harry Potter again, but in the third Harry Potter movie, when is it Lupin that's turning into the wolf?
Yeah, the werewolf.
As he's mid like lycanthrope like transition. That's what the third one looks like to me.
It does.
It's just this awful like hideous. I do not like this one bit. Oh God, like it. Terrible.
I like it.
Terrible. Although Marco do got that shit on. I want this fit.
You want the greens? That's what you should dress up for Halloween. You should pick one of the outfits from the cover of the Animorphs book.
Yeah.
And have everyone be like, what are you?
We did well we were looking up, I can't remember if we did it on the show or not, but we were looking up Kay Applegate's like online presence, and she had retweeted like a group of friends that had done a full cover where they did like from the human all the way through the transitions, and Kay Applegate retweeted that. So yeah, we should just do
That's
that
amazing.
Just so that we can.
That would be
maybe
so
Kay
fun.
Applegate would come on this show then if we did that.
Group costume.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone, we'll assign everybody who writes in. We'll assign you one part of the costume, and then I will edit us into one picture.
Yes, if you would like to participate, let us know.
Yeah, right in.
What is the tagline on this book?
I have to zoom on it because my eyesight is bad today. What's on your mind?
Woo! It's not a ... and it's not a change is good sometimes ...
What's on your mind? The proposal.
The proposal. So what's going to happen in the proposal, Gianni?
Is it well, I hope it's like a literal like engagement. He's dressed up as a poodle to try to be like the ring bearer for, but not for a wedding, for an engagement specifically. Like this couple needs their poodle dog run up with the ring on its collar, and that'll be how we propose.
What if it's Jake proposing to Cassie with a promise ring?
You had me in the first half of that sentence. I was down. If you were like Jake proposing to Cassie, I'm like stupid, but I like a little stupid romance. But promise ring is where I draw the line.
They have to be pure, Gianni. Purity culture.
No.
100%.
No.
You have to be pure.
Start fucking. Start
consensually fucking.
Yes, yeah, of course,
and
consensual,
lawfully,
but absolutely
lawfully.
Start fucking. What's unlawful fucking?
If it's like teenager and adult, don't do that.
Oh, well, that I would count that under non-consent, though. You know.
Oh, that's
like,
true. That's true.
Count,
that should be.
I would say
that is non-consent. You are correct.
Yeah, I would say you can't really consent until.
That's true. That is correct. You can't really consent. But let's get to fucking.
But yeah,
is this the book where we get to fucking, Gianni?
I hope so. I hope we witness some fucking. Even if we're watching through poodle eyes, I hope. I hope.
I don't know.
Pray.
This thought just popped into my head. A movie I watched probably 13, 14 years ago. Have you ever seen Short Bus?
I don't think so.
It's an indie movie, and it's supposed to be like young adults exploring themselves through sex and relationships. The whole opening of the movie is people having different kinds of sex, and one is a guy sucking himself off. He figured out how to do it, and then
he cracked the code.
And he comes in his face, and it's real.
Wait,
it's real.
That's awesome.
It's real.
Oh, good for him.
And it was the first time I'd seen anything like that before, and I was just like, "Holy shit! You can do it." And then I've spoken to guy friends and also previous boyfriends about seeing this, and they're like, "No, you can't." I'm like, "You can. You have to lay on the ground, get your feet above your head, and just kind of drop your hips down and let gravity do the work, baby."
This is a John Cameron Mitchell movie?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the only thing I really remember from that movie, and
it's an erotic comedy. It says
it was one of the most insane things I think I've ever seen, and it has not left me. So
I mean, big fan of John Cameron Mitchell, but yeah, that sounds insane.
Yeah, it was crazy. You should watch it. Let me know.
I will watch it actually. Yeah, this looks like strangely up my alley. I fear.
It might be actually.
Yeah, because I like a good erotic comedy, and I like John Cameron Mitchell. I love that you're just confessing on the podcast that you were just watching a porn movie.
It wasn't porn. It's an erotic comedy.
Okay, buddy.
And I was like, it was also a point in my life where I was like, I'm an adult. I can talk about sex. I'm an adult. I can do what I want. And then I watched that, and I was like, holy shit.
First fun fact written here is to make the actors more comfortable, the director and cameraman were stripped naked while filming the orgy scene. So there you go.
I like that. Because if you're going to subject your actors to that, you should also be subjected to that.
Mm-hmm.
Make it chill.
Wow.
You know?
In an act of solidarity with his cast, John Cameron Mitchell, despite being a gay man, made a cameo appearance in which he performed oral sex on one of the female performers. It was his first sexual encounter with a woman.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh
Wow.
my God. How nerve-wracking.
Wow.
That's
yeah,
wild.
no pressure, brother.
Again, we're talking about fucking on an Animorphs podcast.
This is, again, more sex than you all would have suspected, right? Which is non-zero.
Oh, that's so
Jiminy.
good.
Yeah,
All right,
I'm
yeah,
going
you're
to
gonna
watch
have to
this,
watch that and send me a
what I'm gonna
report
think.
after you watch.
I can't wait, actually.
Yeah. Let us know if you've seen it before, folks, and what your thoughts were. Anyway, should I get to the description of the proposal, which does not have any fucking in it, as far as I know?
Please do, yes.
Marco already knows he has a few problems. The constant battle with the Yeerks, finding out his mother was infested, and is now Visser 1, the leader of the Yeerk invasion on Earth. But things...
She was demoted. And, quote-unquote, dead.
Yeah, I guess she figured it out, you know? But
Right.
things are about to get even weirder. Marco's father is thinking of getting married again.
No fucking shit, it is a proposal.
It is a proposal. Meanwhile, the Animorphs and Axe have other things to worry about. It seems the Yeerks are trying harder than ever to get people into the sharing by using fucking. No.
Oh,
Now
you got me excited for a second.
Now the kids have to find a way to slow down recruitment, but Marco's personal stress is causing him to morph into creatures that don't exist. Creatures
What?
Creatures the Yeerks are sure to notice and attack. ...
What?
Oh,
How?
I hope this is a reaction. I hope this is another reaction.
Yeah, it sounds kind of similar right there at the end.
It sounds wild.
Everything else, it had nothing to do with any of that, but I'm okay. I'm tentatively optimistic. We're going to get an absolutely insane,
Oh, I hope so. I hope this one's great.
zany adventure. Jeez.
I want it to be zany. I need some zany fun in my life right now.
Yeah. If you didn't enjoy the background music that's been playing, underscoring this entire episode,
Saxophone guy has been going at it for more. It's been going at it for almost 2 hours.
He's
now.
really been playing, yeah. But you know what? That's the type of
wildin'.
zany that I'm looking for. But if that's not enough, then yeah, we need something to save us from this this hell.
From this hell.
Yeah, I have my dog drinking water loud as fuck.
I just heard her too. I just heard her. I just hear.
Yeah, right at the acknowledgement of the saxophone guy. It's like, Jesus, we can't escape. Truly can't escape.
She needs to make her appearance. We all know this.
Yeah, she's got to make herself known. Also, this is the most she's maybe ever drank in her life. Just drinking a whole... All right, she just got done. Jesus. Okay.
She forgets sometimes. You know, sometimes you just forget about drinking water.
She is an old lady, so yeah.
She is an old lady.
She does forget drinking water.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about you.
Yes, ma'am. So, if you want to send us any of your thoughts, feelings, opinions, questions, comments, concerns,
Halloween costumes,
recommendations, literally whatever you want to send us. If you're going to send a dick pic, you got to ask us first. You can't just send it. That's
you
rude.
can send it to me. I'm fine with it.
Don't listen to Gianni. He's a bad influence. He's going to
Free
watch
ratings.
He's about to watch a porn movie full of young
Free
adults.
ratings, baby. Give them out on Instagram. Go ahead, DM me that
I did
hog.
hear that some women, when they get dick pics sent to them, they will take other dick pics that they've been sent and send one back just to freak the guy out. And I'm like, that is a good idea. I think that's fun.
I mean, lightly homophobic, but yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like it. Here, you send me a dick, I'll send you a dick. Here you go.
Playfully homophobic, you know?
There you go. A little bit.
It's like, we know you'll be terrified of this.
Here's another dick. Someone else. So if you would like to be playfully homophobic, you can send us an email at morphinbuddies@gmail.com. That's morphinbuddies at
GMAIL.com.
.com.
I'm glad it gives you joy.
It does give me joy.
I'm glad it gives someone joy.
This whole thing gives me joy. Everybody gives me joy. Everybody that listens, everybody that talks to us, everybody that doesn't talk to us, everybody that just shows up and wants to hear some of the bullshit nonsense that we have to say. Thank you so much. Genuinely from the bottom of my heart. I just think it's amazing that anybody is listening to this, and it's I'm very appreciative to our little tiny community, and you guys are all great.
Oh yeah, me too. It's like, it's one of the few. In the words of Nick Cage and Pig, you don't get many things to care about, and so it's nice that we get to share in something. So love to you all, guys. You're so sweet. You keep us going.
Yes.
I mean, we would still do it anyway, but you keep us going.
Yes, 100%. So everybody, take care of yourselves. Be nice to people. Don't be a fucking fascist. And we'll see you in the next episode of Morphin Buddies.
Kisses.